Howdy folks, Little John out in the brewery and doing a bit of a taster and a check on the Sunshine Ale that was done back in early November. This was the first beer I did under pressure in the all-rounder. I'll put links up to the videos. Now, when I did the follow through for the pressure ferment through to kegging, and I put this one into a keg, and then I actually bottled one keg, and it was done with line and the picnic tap, because I didn't have the right gear. I've got myself a filler gun since then. So main thing I wanted to do is I wanted to see how well the bottled beer was holding the gas that was coming from the keg, from the ferment, that trapped CO2 as part of the ferment process, which is a big part of the reason why you're getting an all-rounder. It's part of that thing is that your beer is carbonated when the ferment's finished. So when you're going into the keg or into a bottle, the beer's already carbonated. Now, as I would have discussed during the video when I was filling the kegs and I was transferring, the pressure in the all-rounder drops during the cold crash, obviously as the beer takes in the gas. So I think by memory this one was around 6 psi, 6.5 psi, somewhere around that in the all-rounder when it was actually bottled. Now I took a sample straight off the fermenter, which wasn't too badly carbonated, wasn't highly carbonated, which is what led me to thinking that the carbonation was a little bit too low to go straight into a bottle as it was. So what I did was I bottled up that carton out of the keg and I added about 1/3 of a carb drop into each bottle, just to give a little bit extra, a little bit of secondary fermentation and trying to give a little bit more gas. Now, what I had done is I kept 2 bottles aside, one marked, and this is one, but I'd kept one aside which I didn't put any extra sugar in. I just bottled it straight from the keg with the carbonation that it had. So I could have a bit of a comparison. Now, last week I went through and I started culling a lot of old beer that was sitting around in the fridge and stuff, making space for Christmas. And I have mistaken, obviously, the bottles that I put aside to do this comparison with for an old batch, and I've thrown them out, which I really don't know how I've done it. But I cannot locate the bottles. They don't seem to be anywhere, so it would appear I've certainly done that. So that's not going to happen. But I'll look at that. That's something I can address a little bit further down the track with other bottles. But it'd be interesting to see at least how this bottle is going with that 1/3 of a carb drop. So, I said it's been in the bottle now for just over 2 weeks. I think it's about 16 days. So, I'll just check. I think I've got the date here. So it's been sitting on a nice, 20, low 20s here in the garage for the last couple of weeks. So they should be decent secondary fermentation have gone on. So the keg first of the hook. So yeah. 2 and a bit weeks. What are we, 16th today? So yeah, 16, 15 days. So should be fine. So let's crack in. Okay, so not a real lot of fizz there, so that would certainly indicate that we were a little lacking in the carbonation. We'll see. Righto, well, there's a good carb in the glass, despite what the gas off done. Hopefully, I don't know how well it's going to show up. The light's not great at the moment, but there's a that's got a good level. That's got a decent carbonation in it. There's nothing wrong with that. That's not lacking in any way. That's for sure. Not excessive, but so I think the further carb drop has had some benefit, but I don't think, looking at that, that it would have been seriously undercarbed. Maybe been a little bit, had there not been the extra, that bit of carb drop put in there. Now the other thing I was looking at was the difference between now that bottling process and the beer off the keg. So as I said, using there was quite, I was concerned about oxygen because there was no real way, with the way it had been done, to get that oxygen, you know, to purge it. So that I haven't had many of this off the tap, but it's certainly tasting different. Let's grab a little bit. So I've just grabbed a little sample off the keg, which is much clearer. It's not as gassed. There's this one. Okay, there's definitely a much cleaner nose on the keg version. There's the nose on that. Yeah, it's got a weird edge on it, which I'm pretty sure isn't in. The keg version is much cleaner, clearer. So I don't know whether that's, well, I'm assuming it's an oxidation issue. I suppose it is a little bit, I can't really put a finger on it. So when oxidation generally comes across as a bit of a wet cardboard sort of a smell and taste, which is probably what it is. It's definitely not in the keg version, so yeah, so it would certainly appear that process isn't being completely successful, and I said I didn't think it was going to be, or to be concerned about how well that would hold up, and clearly it hasn't. 2 weeks would probably be the limit on where it'll start to really show up, so be interesting to see how this and these bottled versions go. Give them another couple of weeks just to see how it really the oxidation really keeps taking over, which I think it's going to. Because that's a much cleaner beer out of the off the keg. So yeah, certainly would appear that that method is not viable long term. So, and again, this is why I said I bought the proper filler gun. I'll be doing the next batch with that, which I'm hoping to do tomorrow. So there'll be a follow up on that after the new year. I'm not going to do a video of the filling day, I don't think. Might do a quick one. Might do a quick one of the just using the gun. It won't be a real big one. I've got a lot of stuff to do tomorrow if we're getting down to the skinny on Christmas. So all good. But so that's it. Cheap, dodgy method for filling bottles for the keg. Probably alright if you're only going to do it, if you're doing it for, take it to a party or give to mates and you're going to drink it, fairly well straight away. It would certainly appear that if you're planning on storing it for any time, then that's not a method. There's definitely some effect from the oxygen that gets in there. So that's it. So otherwise, big shout out to all the patrons, all those supporters for Little John's. Cheers and thank you guys. There'll be a little Christmas present coming out to everybody, which, given the time frame, I'm just a little bit concerned that you may not actually get it till after Christmas. It may be more a New Year thing, but either way, big thank you guys. If you're interested in Patreon, want to look up to us about, hit the link down the bottom and have a look. Might be up your alley. If you're not interested in Patreon going that far, just subscribe if you haven't already done so. Hit the like button. These things all help out. But that's me, Little John, done for the day. So transferring from a closed transfer without the appropriate equipment is, for me, I've got to say, it seems to be a fail and a no-no. So if you are going to pressure ferment, or go to kegs and you want to go into bottles, spend the dollars and buy yourself a decent, a proper bloody filler. I think the filler gun only cost me about bloody $52 or something delivered, so it's not a massive expense, and hopefully it'll avoid the issues of affecting that beer. So that's me. So until I see you again, we brewing beer, talking beer, drinking beer, good brewing.